What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the Elks Call with the Elks Herd. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Do You Even Elks?
And today we have a very special guest for everybody. The CEO of a pharmaceutical and life sciences consulting services, defensive line coach for the U of A Golden Bears, and professional tailgater. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Brent Korte. Brent, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh man, super stoked that you're on the show today. We're doing awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Really happy to be here, and I like the last part of your descriptor of me, professional tailgater. I didn't know, I'm maybe 4 or 5 years as a pro, so it's good to know that I'm putting my skills to good work, good use.
That's the most important one.
Yeah, throw it on the resume, baby. Throw it on the resume, right?
That's the way to do it.
Oh, so I mean, you just got off the turf there, and you're spending your time with us. So thank you once again for.
Oh, like a glum cat coming in there. Like
you never know what you're gonna get on this show. You never know what you're gonna get. So before diving into the rundown here on the show, we do have a bit of a special announcement. The Elks Call is now available on Edmonton Sports Talk. So Our friends Dustin Nielsen, Lieutenant Eric, Matthew Iwanek, and Tom Gazzola have started up Edmonton Sports Talk. They've basically recreated TSN 1260, the magic of it, or at least one half of it, and brought it over to Edmonton Sports Talk. So we're extremely excited and thankful to be on this ride with them. To our viewers that are listening on Edmonton Sports Talk, thank you very much. It does air 8 p.m. Friday nights over there. And then, of course, Wednesday, Thursdays over on our YouTube, Shotgun Sports Network Limited. Okay, so now that we're through that, we have an even more exciting episode. So for today, we're going to reflect on that Edmonton Elks versus Calgary Stampeders game. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Resulted in a loss, but I mean, it could have been worse. It was exciting. After that, so that's you're going to do that in your quarter by quarter. And then after that, we're going to open up the fan forum. So we have a couple of topics to talk about surrounding the Edmonton Elks and the CFL. We're going to open up the live chat for that. So once again, get in the live chat, blow it up. If you have any questions, any comments, get in here and chat with us. This is what it's all about. Then we're going to give you an Edmonton Sports update. And then we're going to ask Brent Korte some questions in the more you didn't know for the copyright.
Yes, we can't say the other way.
Yeah,
Can't
do it. Can't do it. All right.
Yeah, well, let's get started. I mean, the first thing that we have on the deck here is talking about that past game on September the 4th against the Calgary Stampeders. It was the smoky Labour Day Battle of Alberta. But, I mean, there we were. It looked packed.
It did.
I'm not sure. I actually wasn't paying much attention about their stadium, to their stadium and their fans, but it looked really good.
We were there. My wife and I, and we had a good, some 65 jerseys there in the stands, and our section was full. There was certainly a lot of empty areas, but it was pretty good energy, in the stands, and a lot of cheering, until that last few minutes of the fourth quarter.
We'll get there definitely. I mean, it started.
Sorry, with the smoke, right? Brent was there.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about the smoke in a bit, but did you find it to be overly smoky, Brent?
Based on what we've had here over the course of the summer, it was probably what we normally would have, like a 7 or an 8, or what we hear about that. But I think and it seemed pretty heavy as we were driving down to Calgary, but it wasn't. Honestly, I didn't notice it as being that much different than a couple of the games that we've been at where it's been close, here in Edmonton. So, yeah.
Okay. Noted for later. Sorry about that, Catherine.
That's all right. The first quarter, it started a little stressful for us, of course, with Calgary having that really good run and kicking it in for a field goal. But then we went ahead and saw Trey Ford do that crazy 40-yard run that brought it right into the end zone. And then, of course, Cornelius right in, finishes it off with a touchdown. So, I mean, for a first quarter, I think it was fairly, of course, exciting after that one play that Trey Ford did. It was, of course, a really massive run. But what were your thoughts at this point? Did you think at this point, after seeing that first quarter, that we had it in the bag?
No, I didn't think we had it in the bag. I thought Trey Ford's run was electrifying. Like, that one was, the one he did later in the game. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure, where he was all over the place. This particular run, though, he actually went out of bounds right in front of us, and he was flying. Like, I thought, there's no way he's not getting in. And you probably could see it on TV. Like, he got pushed out of bounds, and he jumps over the standard, and then does a roll, lands on the cement, and does a roll. And but it was the whole crowd kind of held their breath, because it's just such a spectacular play. But no, I didn't think it was in the bag or one way or the other. It was pretty even to that point. I thought defensively we were playing pretty well at that point. We had a fair bit of pressure, that type of stuff. So yeah.
I personally held my breath a little bit after Trey Ford went over that railing because I was like, oh no, not again. Don't get injured. It was that little moment of panic as, we just got you back. Don't go, don't get injured again.
Please don't hurt yourself. Please
So-
don't.
Don't do that. Just be careful. Well, and going into the second quarter, really, we also had an exciting second quarter. Ford had another really good run. Julian with the Rouge.
Yeah, the Rouge,
Right, the Rouge.
Canada's favorite point.
Like the Rouge.
Yes. Number 26, Marcus Lewis with a really fantastic intercept that he did for Faithful to kick it in for another 3 points. Right after that, Dylan Mitchell gets that first down. And then it comes with that super creative trick play where Kyron Moore was the one that threw that touchdown to Steven Dunbar. So, I mean, that's the other topic that I want to talk about, right? This is the second game that we have seen some really creative play calling. And it seems like maybe the change of coordinator really is starting to pay off a little bit. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's provided a spark for sure. Like I think both the combination of that and Trey Ford coming in has provided a spark. But the play calling, like that was very creative, and they've run that kind of jet sweep type of play a number of times, but never with the throw. So they caught Calgary off guard, and that was a great play. Loved it. Loved the creativity.
It's great that you mentioned the jet sweep, because that's a play that I've shown Catherine with my finger as we're sitting in Commonwealth Stadium. I'm like, this is what it should look like, but this is what we never see, right? Is the actual jet sweep. And even like you said with the throw, right, to add a little razzle dazzle on it. Beautiful to see. So
everybody was caught off guard with that one.
Yeah.
It was,
and a great catch by Dunbar too. Like he kind of made a twisting catch, to get it. A great catch by him too. But just an innovative, creative play. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Totally.
and it's really nice to see. I mean, I have been watching this team play for a few years now, 3 years now, and this is the first time that I have seen trick plays. So it is definitely a really good change. It's nice.
Anything,
It's
right?
confusing when you're watching it first. It was like, is that allowed?
Well, the reality is Trey Ford's like a trick play. Like just when he goes back when he drops back and he starts to run, like it is it's something to watch, as you guys know, right? Like it's for a defense, and I'm a defensive coach too, to try and defend against something like that, let alone like the play you're talking about with Kyron Moore. That's really hard to defend against, but fun to watch. Like very exciting to watch.
It's absolutely beautiful. We were just watching NFL today because it's back, and we were watching the Kansas City game against
Kansas City versus Detroit Lions.
Right.
Yeah.
And my sons are just starting to learn a lot about football, and they were asking about Patrick Mahomes. And I was like, you know what? This is the reason why I'm so excited about Trey Ford, because sometimes what it takes for a team to get to a championship is having that trick play quarterback, as you call it. That obviously
somebody that can run, somebody that can throw,
course.
somebody that can do a little bit of it all, right? But keep the defense guessing for sure. And then like you said, Trey Ford, he can also catch a ball too.
Yeah.
He can also, like, there's still so many other things with him. Like he's a utility knife as a player, right? Utility knife, I think, is the best way to put it. But yeah, you're right.
It's exciting to see because there is a lot of promise, that's for sure. But on that topic, going into the third quarter, I did want to talk about Ford a little bit more. When I was watching the replays, a lot of commentators on the T7 panel gave him a straight up comparison to Doug Flutie for that run on the third quarter, right? And he got that touchdown to Dunbar, and it was just fantastic. But we all know how the game ended. And one of the things that I know I mentioned is that there is no doubt that Trey Ford is an incredible athlete, right? He's still young, but maybe there's still a little bit to learn there. One of the things that I personally notice is that his run game is absolutely amazing, but maybe that his passing game seemed to lack a little bit, whether it is, we saw a lot of 2 and outs. We saw a lot of overthrows, right? So it makes me feel like perhaps there's still a little bit of development for Ford. What are your thoughts on that? Let's talk a little bit more about him.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no question. There's lots of development there still for him. He's got such an incredible ceiling. Like a utility knife is a good way to put it. Like I just see a little bit of magic, when he's got the ball. The week before in the game against Ottawa, he was running around and he did get a few larger gains, but he was able to run around and then still make a play. And I think Calgary was taking those away. So it might be a little bit of that as well, that he didn't see those openings, but I think he'll see those more. The game will start to slow down for him a little bit, is my guess. But I think there's still some growth to happen with his game. I'm sure he would say the same thing, but yeah, I think the just everything, the magic that he brings is so much fun and exciting to watch. And it is unfortunate that we didn't win, right? And didn't to finish things off. But I think that I'm excited for the game on Saturday and to see what's the next bit of magic that he brings, right? Him and the rest of those players.
No, totally. And I mean, it's interesting because Catherine, during that last game, Catherine had mentioned that maybe Trey Ford was taking matters into his own hands a little bit too much. Was he trying to make the magic happen on his own a little bit too much versus having faith in the guys around him or the scenarios around him or whatever? He was indeed using his legs, but same time, given that power, sometimes you're going to fail with that power and you have to find other ways to win. So once again, it's going to be a huge learning opportunity for Trey Ford. And this is, I believe, Daryl, right? Daryl on the Elks call, he had also mentioned this. Trey Ford is going to be a quarterback that we have to develop with as a team. We have to develop him as a team. We're not going to have a veteran for him to learn behind. So in doing that, there's going to be mistakes and stuff that happens. And he gave the team more than enough chances to win. I mean, he definitely did his part. Sure, it would have been nice to have an insurance touchdown at the end, which is what we ultimately needed to win. But at the same time, can you really blame him for the performance that he put on? Not at all. The loss was ultimately, I would say the loss was ultimately on the defense just because of the way that fourth went. Same time, clock management wasn't the greatest. There was a Kevin Brown. Kevin Brown went out of bounds and stopped the clock where he should have went down inbounds. So a couple of things that happened there in that fourth quarter that spelt demise for the Edmonton Elks, unfortunately. But
well, yeah, I mean, and that's just it. Even though I did make the mention to my sons about, the nice thing about having a really good quarterback, and sometimes that's what it takes to win championships. The reality is that it takes a team. Yeah. Right. I mean, obviously, a really good quarterback is going to be the backbone of a really good team, but you also need the rest of the team to show up.
Yeah.
And that kind of takes us to the fourth quarter. It was difficult to watch. It really was. I mean, we saw our defense starting to crumble at this point, and the penalties just kept coming. We had that questionable pass interference call. And of course, nobody stopping the run. So, we had guests here for the game, and I probably jinxed it when I said that no lead was safe until there's 30 seconds on the clock, right?
Oh, there it was, right there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. But I mean, come on. That last play, it was a pass to Arsenault at the 50 instead of what I was hoping to see is just a big Hail Mary just to see where it would take. I mean, we've seen that before, right? With Lewis and Dunbar, that he would just
you never know what happens, right? Yeah.
Right. And I mean, my question at this point is, are we underutilizing some of the big talent that now we have in the team? I mean, we didn't see much from Gino Lewis compared to other games. Same thing with Arsenault. Like, do you think that we're perhaps underutilizing some of those guys?
That's a great question. You know what? I would say that they're still figuring it out. I think that they're still, I think it takes a while for quarterbacks, receivers to get on the same page. And Trey, this is just his fourth game, right? Yeah, fourth game that he started in, and he was not getting a ton of reps with the starters, and Gino Lewis was on injured for a while too. So just getting into that, there was one play, I can't remember, I think it was second quarter, he threw a long pass to Lewis and it was overthrown, right? So as they play together more, just the timing of where he thinks he's going to be, or if he throws it to his back shoulder or things like that, I think that will come with time, but that still doesn't change what happened at the end of the game. Like, I think still, like, throwing it deep and giving it a chance for a Hail Mary, unless they had some sort of hook and ladder thing going on that never materialized, which is possible. But yeah, it was, it's interesting in the fourth quarter, like probably up until even when Edmonton, there's maybe about 5 minutes left, and they were down on about the 30 of Calgary, ran the ball and got a holding penalty that took them back. They still ended up getting a field goal, but that ended up stopping that drive that might have got even closer, eating more time off the clock. When Calgary scored after that, it wasn't until after that, and it was inside of 3 minutes, or after their 2 and out, that it was like, this now, now it felt like the tide had turned. It wasn't really till then, for me anyways, in the stadium, that it felt that way. It felt like control up till then.
Well, and that's exactly it. You get those little momentum turners, or those little TSN turning points, right?
Yes.
But yeah, you could really feel it. And as you got to the 5 minute mark, and as you wound down, you had that impending doom feeling.
It was stressful.
Yeah, and another thing that you mentioned, Brent, which is very, 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 very interesting, very good observation. Over and under throws, Trey Ford has been lights out. His percentage has been amazing. His accuracy has been amazing over the last 3 games. Well, actually, no, before the Calgary game, the 2 games before, and even that Winnipeg game, he played really well. He got the ball to his guys at the right time. Things were working well. Now you go into a very hostile environment where it's rivalry, there's emotions, tons of fans. You got your people from Edmonton showing up. You have people that have hated green and gold all week. Like, people are fueled up on booze and everything else. And everybody goes harder for Labor Day. It's the same thing as the Labor Day rematch, as if we aren't going to go harder for the Labor Day rematch. So I could tell you stories, we're not. But that being said, it was one of those games where it felt like they found another way to lose, even though we've kind of seen something like this before. They should have won it. An insurance touchdown would have been great. The clock management, once again, that final play, you had about 2 more plays in you, and the clock management, we didn't call a timeout. We let the clock run out, and game over. We didn't get that extra stab in the dark, so to speak.
Yeah, it was a little frustrating. But, I mean, we did finish 31-35, unfortunately, at a loss. But, we get another go at it here coming up. We do have some transactions for the next game. On the 6th, there was a notification that American wide receiver Deontay Alexander was signed. We have American running back Colin Laborn that was signed as well. And we had a couple of releases. Mackay Johnson, running back, and as well as national wide receiver Danny Vandervoort.
That Danny Vandervoort one sucks. Big shout out to Danny Vandervoort. Yeah, Brent, he's been around with the organization for a hot minute now.
Yeah, he's been. I think this might have been his 3rd year with. Anyway, he was in BC before that, and a good, hardworking Canadian receiver, and had been on the practice roster, and yeah, so it's sad to see him released, but wish him nothing but the best.
No. If anything, I really hope that he goes and finds a really good opportunity, and we see him out there starting on the field again. Because even Family Day, when we took the boys to Family Day last year, Danny Vandervoort, out of all of the players besides Jamin, made sure he nodded and said hi and everything when we were trying to film and stuff. So really cool guy, really awesome guy. It sucks to see him go, but hopefully wherever he lands, it's the turf.
Definitely.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, so you mentioned Jamin. Jamin Jamin loves the camera, so like, what he found you.
He sure does. He sure does.
He's always over at the speaker's corner at the tailgate.
I love it.
Oh yeah. No, he wouldn't be shy about that, and I know he always pays us a visit. I had coached him actually when he was in high school. He was an all-star. I was coached Team Alberta for a few years in a U18 team, and he played on that. And he's a phenomenal player. He's a phenomenal player now. That's you're probably going to get to that in a sec, Catherine. But he's having him back this week. Hopefully, he's back this week. Have a huge impact for that defense. Fresh legs and pretty motivated guy.
We are definitely excited.
Yeah.
We did have another person sign, which was American defensive lineman Calvin Bundage. And we had American defensive back Antonio Mitchell II released as well. As for injuries, Brown Elliott with a knee injury is out, as well as Franklin Jr. Marloshon.
Franklin Marloshon Jr.
Yeah, with a hamstring injury, and of course linebacker Jordan Reeves with a foot injury. But we did see AC Leonard, Luchez. I'm horrible with it.
I know you're Luchez Purifoy.
Luchez Purifoy. I'm horrible with names.
Okay.
And of course, Jamin Pelly we're seen practicing. So we are definitely hopeful to see them all back, and that is extremely exciting.
Massive. It's massive to have Jamin back, especially with the D-line looking pretty good lately.
Yeah.
Having Jamin in there, and then of course Mr. Walking Turnover himself. We really hope that Luchez is back ASAP.
Yes, and with the game coming up again against Calgary once more for the Labor Day rematch, what are your thoughts, Brent? What do you think they can do better? What are your predictions for the game coming up?
Well, we're going to win. Number one, we are going to win. No doubt about that. Number two is kind of what Scout, what you were saying is, we as fans, we got to bring it, right? Like he's mentioned hostile environment down in Calgary, that type of thing. We got to bring it and make it a hostile environment here, which we will. We'll start it with the tailgate. We'll get to that in a bit. But I think that I think that's that part of it. From a game point of view, I think what we saw, especially in the second half, except for that last 2 and out, we ran the ball very effectively with Kevin Brown, and I think running the ball like in the game against Ottawa made a big difference, and I think we were starting to really wear down Calgary. Interestingly, in the on that last run that Kevin Brown had, that there was a holding call on. There was a guy about 5 rows behind me, and we'd had 3 or 4 good runs in a row, and he really loudly stands up and he goes, "They're kicking our ass!" And so at that point I was feeling confident. Then the holding finally came,
and then everything changed. But I mean, it'll be definitely an exciting game. And just before we move on, just as our watcher here and commenter says here in the chat,
shout out John. This is John. What's up, buddy?
There's going to be a lot of Taylor Swift fans in the audience on Saturday.
Yes, Swifties. Swifties so with the double E.
They know how to fight. So all those Calgarians that may show up, even if they're not a lot, because once again, John here says that there's going to be a really big watch party at their football stadium on Saturday. So maybe we're not going to see a lot of Calgarians here, but I'm not sure. But either way, we just have to make sure that all those Swifties get in on the rowdiness, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, so absolutely.
Girls.
Learn your ABCs at the same time. And also thank you, John, for the score update. I was a little bit disappointed we were going to miss the ending of that one. Lions won 21-20. Wow.
Nice update.
Wow. That's an upset. That's an upset for sure.
Yeah, I gotta see what happened with Patrick Mahomes there and Pacheco. So yeah, disappointed. That's who I have. Hey,
that's all it is. It's just for his fantasy.
Fantasy is definitely a big fantasy night. Brent, are you doing fantasy this year, real quick?
I am. I've this year I've just got one league that I'm in this year, but I've been playing in a league with a bunch of buddies since 2004.
Nice.
It's a keeper league, and some years I do okay, but the last few years it's not been good. So
That's amazing because, like, the league, right? People watch the league. You've done all of that
I
original.
watched the league
Yeah.
before I even got into watching
Yeah.
football. So.
Brent was the guy with the whiteboard, and you get an in-person together.
What?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Brent is an OG fantasy football guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Love it. Love
yeah.
it.
Before everybody just went on their phones and just went to
Yeah.
Yahoo or
Yeah,
sleep.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
No, it's different.
Oh,
fancy.
it's so good. All right, so guys, big shout out to our live listeners tonight, and a big shout out to our listeners on Edmonton Sports Talk. We're gonna open up the fan forum. It's about that time. So this is a segment called the fan forum where we're gonna talk about some hot topics surrounding the Elks and the CFL, and our live listeners will get to chime in on each topic we discuss. Make sure you comment in the live chat after we ask the question, as we'll look in the chat and we'll bring you into the show. So let's get started. Our first one, Brent, you're a little bit familiar with this. It's about the Labor Day Rivalry series. So recently, fans have been talking about how it's a little unfortunate that the Labor Day game is always in one specific city. For others, it's a tradition. Obviously, if you're a Calgary Stampeders fan, you probably love that the Labor Day game is always in your city. If you're an Elks fan, maybe you don't like it. Brent, what do you think? Should we be changing that game's location every year, or should we be keeping the tradition of keeping, the Labor Day game in Calgary and Saskatchewan, Regina, and Hamilton?
Yeah, I've never thought of that before because it's always been in Calgary, right? So, and I've been to quite a few of them, quite a few of the Labor Day classics. But you know what? It'd be pretty cool if we had a Monday afternoon Labor Day classic in Edmonton. I think that would be a nice change up, and I would assume the same thing for the Toronto Hamilton thing. Not that we really care what happens out east, but still. But like to have that in Edmonton, or change it every year or whatever that happens to be, I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that it would be sweet to see it change every once in a while, right? Maybe a 5 years on or 5 years off, or 2 years on and a 2 years off, something like that, right? You don't necessarily have to change it every year. Now, at the same time, it's almost become a Labor Day tradition of our own now, especially with the boys as well.
Yeah.
The boys, for whatever reason, they've seen, like, they were there for the 2021 Labor Day win.
Yeah.
We watched the Labor Day win.
Yeah, that one.
I celebrated that one hard.
Yeah.
You never see the Labor Day win, right? Because it's always in Calgary. But at the same time, when I was writing this question out for today's show, I was thinking about it, and man, would it ever be nice to go to a Monday game and to go to do the Monday afternoon thing? Make the Calgary Stampeders fans come up.
Only if it's a 2 p.m. game.
Well,
because usually you have school the next day. It was first day of school, and at least for the boys, and it was also a work night, so you have to work the next day, right? So it's like, make it a 2 p.m. so that we still have time to go home and sober up a little bit, and then we're good.
See, what's changed this year now, though, is that the game was originally 2 o'clock in Calgary, but now the game is 5 o'clock in Calgary.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. So even then, right, like that kind of changes things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it was good that it was 2 o'clock, and I remember back in the day when they did like the Monday and the Friday game, the rematch was on Friday, so there's a very short turnaround. But that Friday night, because it's the first, just like it'll be this Saturday, schools just restarted, universities restarted, people are like, football is kind of, there's some energy around it, so it is good to have a night game. Like, I think that'll be a fun Saturday afternoon for us this week, and a good party, of course. It always is for at our tailgate, of course, and then we'll let it rock at the game.
Oh, exactly. No, tailgate, right? Tailgate's definitely one of the biggest parts of that. Yeah, I mean, real quick before we jump into the next one, Brent, we could talk tailgate all day, but are you the type to show up extremely early? Are you a 3 hour before, or do you try to stick to the 2 hour before? Or are you like a 5 hour before? We're doing this all day.
Oh no, not 5 hour before. Although, so if it was up, my wife and I have this discussion quite a bit, and so does a buddy Garrett. You've met Garrett, that we tailgate together, and his wife and my wife have been good friends for a long time, and they say, well, how early do we have to go? We're usually there about 3 hours ahead of time.
Nice.
This week's a little bit different, where it's going to be a nice Saturday afternoon, and there's 2 games before. So, you can put the iPad or the phone on or something like that and catch the game and have a few beers in the
make it a full day event.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I'll make it like an 11 a.m. event or like right through for the whole night, but certainly I won't be there past 2 for sure.
That's awesome. We're like, I'm slowly working us back to that 3 hour point. And maybe in the future I could see the 4 hour point. Like, even for this Saturday.
I'm surprised every single time we get there, like 2.5 hours before, and people are already set up. It's already a full blown party. So
it is slammed every like for the last game for sure. We rolled up and we were trying to get ahead of the 8-ball, and then we get there and we find out that we're behind the 8-ball because like 50% of the tailgaters were already going hard out there. Yeah. So that, like, I love it. I hope that we do indeed get to that point where we're going that much earlier. But I mean, we'll definitely try to be there 2.5 to 3 hours before for Saturday's game for sure.
It's so much fun. Like, sorry to stay on the tailgate stream, but like, it's just so much fun. It's become like a highlight for a lot of our friends, family, all that stuff to come and seeing you guys and seeing a lot of other people every game, and it's just a blast. But getting there 3 hours, we were like 2 hours, and then 2.5, 2:45, and 3 hours before, and there's still lots of people there. Like, it's like it doesn't seem to matter how early you get there. There's a party already going on, so it's good.
Well, and I think that in order to be treated like an American tailgate party,
well, we just need like 500 more people.
Yeah, sure, but even then, you have to act like an American tailgate party. Like, I understand that the city of Edmonton has their rules. We get it, but that's also public property up to that 2 hour mark, and then it's Edmonton Elks property. So technically speaking, you can sit there for as long as you want tailgating, and as long as bylaw doesn't come along and kick you out, which they're not going to on Edmonton Elks game day, you're safe.
You're safe, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's we're gonna keep that card in the back pocket there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the energy really changed this. Like, it was good last year. It was good the last few years. The energy changed this year by adding those extra stalls, and if they can get even more, that, like you say, get 500, that'd be awesome. And like, we're right across from the band, right?
Yeah.
Like, right across, like literally right across from the band, and so like it's great energy there every day. Like, I love the different music that we get, and it's always a good party. I miss you guys coming around with your videos though, instead of being in your spot. But
I know, I'm not gonna lie. One of the worst parts about having that spot, well, no, not that spot. It's very great that we have that spot because we're 2 vehicles away from you at all times. But the problem with having a tailgate spot is we need to serve food for all of the CFL fans that roll through. Yeah,
all the time. So we no longer get the chance to go around. Although whenever I show up with the boys, they always want to go do what's cooking. So they're the ones that ask, because of course every time we go, they get treats and they get chips and they get candy. But they definitely still ask, and whenever they show up, we definitely try to continue doing that and bring it back a little bit.
Yeah, no, every time. And usually in barbecues, you get a little bit of smoke from the barbecue, a little sizzle. So that brings us right into the air quality lately. And we touched a little bit on this earlier, but now we want to get in depth. We want to talk the air quality index rating. So the Edmonton Elks versus Stampeders game was played under an extreme air quality condition in which the air quality was actually above 7, I want to say, when 7 is the limit for the CFL to proceed forward with a game. With that, today the CFL is introducing a real-time air monitor to prevent this situation from happening again. But did the CFL miss the mark by letting this game go ahead? Or is this the correct fix to have, live air quality monitoring, pause the game wherever you need to, and pick it back up wherever the air quality is good? And, just to remind everybody as well, our atmosphere and stratosphere and all of that, it all has layers, right? So the smoky air at the turf isn't the exact same quality as the smoky air, a couple 100 meters above or whatever. So we really don't know where they're testing. But Brent, what do you think?
Well, that part I just learned something. It makes sense, with air quality at different levels. I don't know. My son's a player, and those players are they're elite athletes, and they're all impacted a little bit differently by air quality. We've had this similar issue at the university level too. Is that you got the Players Association with them putting challenging the league on this, is they're looking out for the best interest of the players. They're not trying to delay anything. So I don't know. I think they're trying to do what's best, do what's best for the players. I think that the hard part is if they wait to the day of, then they're the day of and it's moving like it was a bit on Monday, then it's tough because you've got fans coming, you've got TV, you've got all that other stuff. But at some point it's a tough line. I don't know. I'm not giving you an answer.
That's a very football political answer there, Brent.
Yeah, no, sorry about that.
No, it's funny because I've excused the game going forward for much of the same reason. You have all of these camera crew, the players, the fans. How many thousands of dollars have moved for this game, basically, right? Mm-hmm. So going ahead and canceling it, delaying it, sure, I agree with delaying it. Canceling it, I don't see that that's going to be a possible viable solution unless you literally can't see the turf. Excuse me, but I think what the biggest thing here is that air quality testing, you need to know exactly where you're testing that air. You kind of do need live real-time testing on those conditions immediately surrounding you, because let's say you test in the north end of Edmonton and the south end of Edmonton isn't that smoky, but the north end is very smoky because you have wildfires that are blowing the wind perfectly, across that direction. You could go ahead and say that the air quality in Edmonton is at a 3, or if you tested in the north end, it could be at a 7. Yeah. So I do think that there should be better accuracy in how we test air quality, and especially during wildfire season. And
yeah, I mean, we tried having a garage sale over the weekend, and we just had to cancel it because it was absolutely horrible outside, and people were not walking around when it was super smoky, and it felt like, when you're not a smoker or anything, feel like you're having a pack of smokes. And, and I couldn't even imagine being out there doing sports, running around and being active.
I think when the players get in the heat of it, then maybe they don't notice it as much. But I say that, and then at the same time, I know it, and this is as a coach, a couple of years ago, I want to say it was pre-COVID, right before COVID. There was another fall where we had really bad smoke, 2018, 2019 type thing. And we had smoke ratings 8, 9 in that range. And where we had to call practice, and when we would try to practice, some guys were fine, were 100%. And other guys that didn't have asthma, didn't have any breathing, all of a sudden they couldn't breathe. They just literally couldn't breathe. It was actually, one of them was Cole Nelson. He was one of my defensive linemen that I coached. And he was one of the guys that was affected. He was in great shape, but it had, everybody affects differently. So again, another non-answer. good question, but like it is tough for all those reasons, and also it strikes me that there was another game earlier this year that they were talking about. Well, they might have to postpone it to the following day. Well, what would that do? Like, there's no fans, nobody's going to watch on TV. The game prep, it affects then the next game, the gap between the next two games,
Right.
for the coaches, all that stuff too. But at this, what's first is the safety of the players and all that stuff too. So, but
Well, exactly, and I think if we were seeing, results that were from a fire that's immediately in the air, or maybe something that isn't obviously going to get better anytime soon, or maybe this is the best chance that we have right now at it. You kind of have to make that decision, and then that's once again within the stadium with how air flows and everything else. We don't know what the exact quality is for people sitting in the seats and the people down on the turf, the players down on the turf. So I think that I think that this is a step in the right direction. I hope that this actually does solve things going forward and actually gives us real-time information. And then, of course, the one thing I do really hope that happens is that the CFL applies their rules to their outfit, because obviously with that game, the biggest problem with this whole topic here is the fact that people have noticed and people are talking about it, and it's a contradiction. We say that we're going to go ahead and not play these games in these conditions, but these conditions come and we're going to go ahead and play it anyways. And I understand, and Brent understands, you understand, Catherine. I think our viewers understand why you're going to go ahead and play that game. And if it was that big of a risk, then the game definitely wouldn't have been played.
Mm-hmm.
So by no means are we saying that the CFL is trumping safety over playing the game. However, at the same time, there's also a lot of logistics as well, and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to delay it if that smoke isn't even going to clear by the time you go to play that game. So
it's like like you think of too the like we've had delays because of lightning, like that they have a good policy around, because that's been around for a long time. But whereas the impact of smoke and fires has really been more so in the last 4 or 5 years that we've really seen it, right? So I think they're trying to figure that out. But I agree with you; it's a step in the right direction that they're trying to figure out what's the best way to measure this. What's the best for the game overall? Like I don't think that the CFL is looking to put anybody in not in a bad situation from a health point of view. So
no, definitely not. I mean, if somebody had a lot of money and wanted to make an invention, something that converted smoke into fresh, clean oxygen that blanketed over.
It was like a dome, like kind of went like a dome over top of the stadium.
Where will we
like an ionizer that like spun just in that area.
That's a tall order.
Hey, there's somebody out there with billions of dollars that owns $1 billion business. All right, so guys, the fan forum. We're going to go ahead and close the fan forum today. Keep on throwing any of your comments, suggestions, any questions, anything into the live chat, especially too, if you have something that you want to bring up for the next episode, a topic or question. John actually helped us with one of our topics today, so thank you, John, in the live chat. Yeah, if you have anything, throw it in there. We're going to read it. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, this is your Edmonton Sports Update. Today's update is brought to you by Herdy's. Catch us at every Edmonton Elks tailgate party. Herdy's, we smoke the meats. On Monday, the Edmonton Elks lost to the Calgary Stampeders in Calgary. They will welcome the Stamps to Commonwealth Stadium on Saturday. Kickoff is at 5 p.m. You can catch the game on TSN or 6:30 CHED. The Edmonton Stingers have announced that Reed Clark is stepping down as president and CEO. Clark worked in his position from February 2023 up until 2 days ago. The University of Alberta Golden Bears football team is hosting the Manitoba Bison tomorrow. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Mountain at Foot Field.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
In other Canadian sports news, Team Canada's men's FIBA team is facing Serbia on Friday, September 8th. Tip-off is at 2:45 a.m. Mountain.
He wants to wake up to watch it. I'm not sure about that. But
We're the Elks, and you're up to date. Oh, so good. And then, just like every other radio show, we have our little commercial break where we shout out to our affiliates. Royal Retros. Brent, I know you appreciate throwbacks.
I love throwbacks. Absolutely.
There's nothing better than a good throwback. Use code Stampede for 10% off over at royalretros.com. We are celebrating the 2023 USFL champion Birmingham Stallions. Giddy up.
Nice.
And then Things Engraved. So Things Engraved is the official merchandise supplier of Shotgun Sports and the Elks Herd. So definitely swing on over. There's always something on sale over at Things Engraved. We just made some purchases ourselves. So yes, we buy our own merch. Call us losers, but we wanted some nice Elks Herd gear for around the house. So that's what we did. And then last but not least, Lather. LATHR.com. Lather.com. 15% off over there if you use the code ShotgunSports15. Cleanse those dirty thoughts
with some soap.
Just
in case if that wasn't clear.
Exactly. That's good. I like that. I like that ending to that commercial there.
Did you say cleanse those dirty thoughts or dirty socks?
Both.
Thoughts and socks.
In the shower. And I'm sure you can use it for your laundry. Maybe.
Not officially. The clothes thing is not official on Lather's end. I will throw that out there on behalf of them. All right. So here's the best part of the show. This is why we have the live viewers watching still. It's the more you didn't know with Brent Korte. So Brent, we're gonna ask you a couple questions here. We're gonna grill you a little bit.
Get to know you a little bit more.
Okay.
We know you have some pretty deep sports ties here in the city of Edmonton. Can you please bring us through your sports career all the way up until now?
Oh, well, it's pretty uneventful. Did you ask the same question of Lieutenant Eric?
He does not. He doesn't have a sports career.
He has a radio career.
He has a radio career.
And he's got way better flow than I do. So very impressive. So my sports career, let's see. I'll try to make it semi-brief. I grew up in Peace River, actually. And so I played every sport when I was up there, including football. And then when I left there, I went and played a year of college basketball, given that you're a basketball fan. So I played a year of college basketball at Grand Prairie College. That's what it was at the time. And then played at U of A, played 4 years at U of A. Was a defensive lineman, played a little bit of linebacker as well. I used to hold the record for the most sacks in a season and career-wise, but that got beaten a few years ago. I got drafted by the Eskimos at the time. Didn't make it. And so that was the end of my football playing career. And then I coached at U of A so now I flip into my coaching career. As my kids before they were born, I coached at U of A for 4 years. And then once they started playing sports, I coached soccer, baseball, hockey, football. When they got into football, both of my kids. And so then I coached them kind of all the way up and right into high school, and then kept coaching after that. And then Chris Morris asked me to coach at U of A, and I've been coaching there for about 8 years. So that's my story.
8 years. That's amazing. Well, and I wish I would have gotten Catherine the picture quick enough. Unfortunately, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind week, but it's the picture of you and Terry. Like that's I really wanted to know the story behind that picture because it looks like it's from Commonwealth. I could be wrong, but that could be the apartments in the background.
Was it like from playing days?
Yes, yeah. You and Terry are both in green and gold, so it could have been either U of A.
It would have been U of A, yeah, because Terry and I both played at the same time. So Terry was an outstanding high school quarterback, like remarkable. And then he when he came to U of A, they said, "Oh no, we're good for quarterback. Why don't you play safety?" And so he was an excellent safety. But yeah, that would have been from our Bears days. So that's a I know the picture you're talking about. That's a good one because we used to play we played at Clark Stadium and Commonwealth that way back in the day.
Nice. I thought I recognized those towers. I'm really happy I'm not wrong. Thank you.
That's exciting. That's an exciting sports career, though. Don't that. That is pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we also know that you are, of course, the father of number 65, center Mark Korte, right now that plays for the Edmonton Elks. So, what is it like coming through the system, being a coach, and then father to a football player?
Well, it's fun. It's fun. I'm very proud of him. And both my sons, my older son also played university football. They both played through that time, so it was a lot of fun as they were growing up and enjoyed hockey and football and stuff like that. So yeah, to see Mark playing, especially here in Edmonton, like it was great to see him drafted, and he went to Ottawa and played for a few years, but to sign in Edmonton and be playing here is pretty awesome.
So what was that like? What was that like when he went to play for Ottawa? And did you, like, of course, supported him, wore the jersey, but inside you were like, oh, I hope Edmonton wins.
Right? I was still coming to all the Edmonton games, but I would cheer on the Red Blacks when he was playing for the Red Blacks. But yeah, no, it was great. It was great to see it. Actually, Ottawa is a fun place to go to watch a football game as well. Yeah, a lot of fun. The good fans, good people there. But just great to have him come home here. And interesting, my brother Terry, who you mentioned earlier, when Mark signed here in Edmonton, so almost a year and a half ago, right away Terry said, "I'm going to put together a spreadsheet. Let's see how many, ask the family and see who wants to get a jersey." Well, before you know it, there were 60, right? There were 60 names on the list. So we reach out to the Christine in the Elks store. She knows the whole family, right?
Yeah.
And of course, you see a lot of 65 jerseys if you swing by the tailgate or in the stands anywhere. But I think that number of 60 that went up. It was up well over 100. So yeah, we just don't all show up at the same time, but it's a lot of fun. It's fun to watch him play, and it's fun to watch. There's 4 Golden Bears on the team too, so it's a lot of fun to watch all those guys. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, it must feel like, a big proud papa to all of them too, to all the Golden Bears as you see them.
Yeah, we got proud papa, proud uncles, grandpa, grandma, everybody. Well, you've met them all. Yeah, they're pretty proud, pretty happy, have a lot of fun.
Over 100 jerseys. Yeah. That is
like not many offensive linemen, maybe other than David Beard. Like David Beard had a pretty good local crowd too. But yeah, no, there's having an offensive lineman jersey number out there. You just don't see that very often.
So, no, that's
awesome. Cool. I'm sure the team loved you. All the Korte family.
Yeah, Christine. It's you again. No, she's awesome. If you haven't met Christine in the team store, yeah, she's amazing.
Oh yeah,
she really is.
Christine is definitely one of our favorites. And even then, when you guys were getting all of those jerseys, they were posting on the social medias, and I believe, was it you that posted a picture of Mark signing all the jerseys? Or yeah.
That's awesome.
He had him. I picked them all up, and then we took them home, and he had them all lined up and signed. We had to label them all so everybody got the right size and stuff like that.
To a little assembly line. just
Yeah.
moving them through.
Exactly what it was.
That's so good.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's like like NHL players doing their upper deck days and ripping through tons of the cards. Same deal. Mark's just ripping through all the jerseys.
For the fans.
Yeah.
Every time he gets a new one, I'm guessing that he gets the signature treatment. You got to bring it to Mark. You got to get it signed off on. Really, right?
Yeah,
Based
absolutely.
on what we see at the tailgate, those family parties you must be just absolutely wild.
They're a blast. Like they really are. Like we kind of lucked out because like 2 years ago, before Mark signed here, it was only my buddy Garrett that had like one tailgate spot, and I was trying to get one, and then I finally got one and got it beside him. And then Mark signed, so then we had two together. And then when they expanded it this year, some people moved, and then my brother Terry got one a couple stalls down, and then a guy that I used to play with, Dave McKinnon, Dave got one right beside Garrett and I. So we have three together, and Terry's one over. So we got a nice wide berth right in front of the band, right beside the Spirit of Edmonton, and 2 cars away from you guys. Life's good.
Yeah. Oh,
amazing.
You guys are a little heartbeat spot over there. You guys are a key cog in the machine, for the tailgate. I mean, honestly, you're easily one of the best tailgaters back there. Your foods are always good. We have never anything ever to complain about. If anything, we feel bad because you guys get blasted with the music the whole time, and sometimes I just want to hear your voice a little bit more, Brent.
And sometimes you don't.
Exactly.
You can't really hear much, but hey, it's good at least.
They've gotten better with the music and actually just like in tempering it a little bit. So which is good, but sometimes it's hard to hear. So that's why Terry's is a little off to the side, and it's kind of nice, the grandparents hang out there.
Yeah, or at least if they position the speakers so it's like on the outside of your tailgate spot and kind of project it out towards the wings and not directly in like one little concentrated spot, right?
Yeah.
So for our last question, we know that you're a coach. We know that you're the defensive line coach for the U of A Golden Bears. Your team's fresh off a win against Calgary. I wish the Edmonton Elks were saying the same, but hey, we'll take U of A.
At least one of our teams is doing it.
Golden Bears.
I'll take it.
You must be stoked about that. So how's this season going? You guys started with a win. That must indicate that you guys are doing something right. What are you liking about this team, Brent?
Well, so I love the team. I've been well, first of all, the biggest reason I coach is the kids, and I can't call them kids because they're young adults or young men, but they energize me totally. Like it's a blast going to coach. It's a volunteer thing that I do, and I love doing it. But this, so we're at a very different stage of the season. We've only played one game, right? Versus the Elks that have played 12. So we're going into our second game tomorrow. We got like a group of players. We usually like university age kids. Like they're there from anywhere from 3 to 4 years to 5 to 6 years, right? So you got them for a fair chunk of time where they come in as early boys out of high school and they leave as men. But our quarterback, for example, Eli Hetlinger, he was named the top university player of the week, 370 yards passing. He was at Elks camp on part of the development thing this year. Excellent quarterback. We've got, experienced running back, really strong offensive line. Chris Morris is the offensive line coach. So we, since he's been there, that's been a focus, and those guys are solid. And a highlight group of receivers. Like if people want to come see really exciting football, come Saturday to watch the Elks play Calgary, because we're going to have an exciting game there. But come out Friday night, tomorrow night, and watch the Bears. It's an exciting brand of football. Also, one of the other things that has me excited, now you can see I'm pretty jazzed up, right? But you got people like Chris Morris. I have tons of respect for Chris, and both when he was a player, played 14 years, with the Eskimos, and then and he's been coaching for I think now 10 years with the Bears. AJ Gass is our defensive coordinator, former Edmonton football player. Rick Walters is our offensive coordinator, former Edmonton receiver. And we've got a lot of people that have really good football experience. So it's a fun group of coaches and just a great group of young guys that have tons of energy, want to learn, want to play hard, and having a blast. So it's good.
That's awesome. I really wish I went to U of A to study, and that was before I was even into sports. But now thinking about it, I really wish that I had gone to some of those games and really gotten to see all of that.
You can still go. It's cheap too.
Of course, I could still go, definitely, and I probably will. We definitely should. But it would have been, I think, a really nice experience to kind of go to university and see all the university teams play. And I mean, now I'm excited thinking about it. Now I'm an outsider, an alumni, that I'm not there anymore. So definitely for everybody out there that is currently a student, an alumni, or anybody just supporting Edmonton sports, definitely should go and go check out Golden Bears.
Totally. Well, and Brent actually mentioned earlier, pardon me, Brent actually mentioned earlier Team Alberta. So us at Shotgun Sports, we got to go down and do a media appearance and run some media and put up some footage and let everybody know and bring the awareness to the Canada Cup this year. So it was really cool being down at Footfield. I had never actually been before.
Yeah.
Life is busy. But that being said, I've always wanted to go down to Footfield. I've always wanted to just get there. And then I am definitely wanting to go to a Golden Bears game ASAP. I tried to convince Catherine actually to go to the game tomorrow night. However, she has plans already. Maybe I'll just go on my own. I don't know. Maybe I'll just go to see you, Brent, and go see the boys play and to go get a win, go get 2 in a row, right?
Go get 2 in a row. Yeah, you never. Well, you may not see me because I'm usually in the spotters box is my role in the spotters box. But I'd be surprised if we didn't see some former Golden Bears that are playing for the Elks attend the game. Chris Jones and a couple of his other coaches came to a couple of our games last year and watched from the stands, and they came and talked to us beforehand, and so. But I would anticipate a few of the Bears grads and maybe some of the other players will come watch the game too.
Nice. No, it's always a good environment down there. Love that field. Love the fact that the end zones are painted yellow. Love that big old yellow A. And even with that Team Alberta bit, them having the blue A, I thought that was so cool that they were mimicking University of Alberta, right? With that throwback A. Like that's just such a beautiful logo over there. So really stoked, really excited for your guys' season. The Edmonton Elks, hey, we may not make it to the playoffs, but you can support the U of A Golden Bears by getting down to the Footfield, watching some exciting football. And Eli, your guys' quarterback that guy is turning heads right now all across U Sports.
Yeah, he's good. And you got to remember too, guys like a quarterback like Trey Ford played in the same league. Played in U Sports, and he played in Waterloo, but still, there's a lot of really good football players that come out of U Sports. Gavin Cobb played for University of Manitoba. That's who we're playing tomorrow. And of course the guys that played at U of A that are there. But it's exciting football. But with the Elks in the playoffs, I know people don't want to. You might want to talk about it too much, but there's still a chance. There's still a chance. They got to win. They got to win quite a few games, but
tomorrow for sure. That's the start. It's a start. We go from there.
Yeah, it all starts with Saturday. I guess we're gonna say, we're gonna restart the season again.
Yep. Yeah. All the other games did not matter.
Yeah,
we're done. Let's start anew.
Yeah.
So everybody, that is 10 minutes past an hour.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Brent, next time that we see you is, of course, it's going to be at the upcoming tailgate on Saturday. But the one after that, we do have our tailgate chili cook-off, in case people don't know.
Massive.
So it will be a competition amongst tailgaters to see who has the best chili. So are you excited about that?
I'm pumped about it. I don't know if do you guys have any secret part of your chili that you got that you're going to share?
We are actually going to make a gluten-free chili because we do have a couple. I mean, we understand that a lot of chilies are gluten-free. We know it, but we definitely want to make sure that people that may have any intolerances or anything, we're not adding anything that may affect them. So that's going to be our secret, which is not so secret anymore.
That's a good secret to have.
Well, and actually as well, if anybody actually gets a hold of us after listening to the episode, actually listening to it, that's where all of those actuallys are trying to go, is for actually listening to the episode. If you listen all the way to the end of this episode, if you are listening on Thursday, give us a message at the Elks Herd on Twitter. Shoot us the word green on Twitter, and we will hook you up with free Edmonton Elks tickets. If you are listening on Friday on Edmonton Sports Talk, gold. Message us at the Elks Herd. Green on Thursday, gold on Friday, either way. Well, but tomorrow, Friday, we're going to do gold. Okay. So anyways, guys, go ahead. Shoot us one of those words, depending on what day you're listening, and we will hook you up with some free Edmonton Elks tickets, courtesy of our friend Len, we are going to be making the gluten-free chili for.
Nice.
So,
do you have a secret?
What's your secret, Brent? What's your secret?
Well, I can't tell the secret. We at the a couple tailgates ago, there was Garrett, the other tailgater. He made Garrett's famous baked beans, and then but last tailgate, Blake Dermott came by. And known Blake for a while, but Blake goes, well, what do I understand that Garrett's got these and he knows Garrett fairly well. And he said, Garrett's got these famous baked beans. I said, that's my recipe. He changed like one thing in it. And so, anyways, Blake, if you know him, he's good sense of humor. So he had a lot of fun with that. For my chili, I'm not exactly sure. I think it's really good, but the last time I made a brisket, I saved some brisket, and so I'm planning to include some brisket within my chopped up brisket within it. So that's my.
He tried that, and then I shut him down because I was like, "That's not original chili." But look at this! That's Canadian chili.
So there you go. So there's Brent taking my secret that Catherine had shut down. Brent, I'm going to be over to taste that chili for sure, man. That sounds like some amazing chili you're going to be cooking up over there. I wish I had some brisket chili, Brent.
I'm sorry.
Well, come on over. You know, it'll be there for you. You know, I'm sure you guys find the same. Like it's so much fun that just anybody kind of stops by and says hello. Like probably more for you guys because of this show and you guys do the EE corner and that sort of thing. But I love it when people just come by, hey, you know, and just start talking, right? And I always ask them, do you want a beer or do you want or a beverage of some sort, you know? And no problem. It's just that's the fun of it. So I love that. Yeah.
It's funny because a lot of people, a big complaint or I guess feedback, right? A big piece of feedback is that people feel like there's a bunch of private parties. So we're all just kind of in our stalls and it's private parties. And that's why we put up things like Speaker's Corner or do the tailgate trivia or try to bring people in so that it kind of breaks down that wall. And with where you're at, right in front of the stage, right in the middle of all of it, you actually probably get better reception and better foot traffic for people eating your eats and conversating and
I think it still needs to be publicized a little bit more. When I was going around just handing out the little pamphlets, the little thanks for the chili cook-off, I actually ran into a couple of evacuees from the East with the Northwest Territories and all of that, the fires that they're having. So we ended up having a whole bunch of evacuees at that game. And they actually approached me because they weren't sure as to whether they could go to these tents, these little stalls, and get food. They were asking how much it costs. Can we get some water anywhere? And it was a little heartbreaking that they still have that sense that they can't approach anybody there. So of course, right away, I was like, you know what? There's so many places. We have Spirit of Edmonton, K97.
Totally.
They will give you some water. They will give you some drinks, and if you go to a lot of these stalls, they will welcome you with open arms every single time. So I think we still have to publicize it a little bit more, that of course everybody's welcome. Everybody's more than welcome to come in and talk to us, but we're getting there. I think we're getting there.
And like Brent said as well, right? Adding that extra 100 people or whatever.
Yeah.
Brent saw it. It's getting there. And once again, you're expanding your group as well, Brent. You have more people getting spots, more people in the Korte crew, as we know you all to be. But it's building that environment and building that real sense of tailgating. And I think we're getting there. September 22nd, the chili cook-off, that's going to be a big part of that.
Yes.
The reason why we talk to our good friends, the Turf District, also on Edmonton Sports Talk, and You Need a Barbecue over in Sherwood Park. You Need a Barbecue is actually handing in a prize as well. They're offering a prize of one spot in their barbecue tailgate class. They have a barbecue tailgating class over at You Need a Barbecue. So, and that their class is going to be on November 4th. To get to November 4th, as a tailgater, you have to compete in the chili cook-off on September 22nd.
Yeah.
So, Brent, you're going to be making the chili that I want to make. Oh man, I'm going to be thinking about that tonight. All right, guys. So, speaking of thinking of things tonight, I'm going to go to Dreamland and think about that. So we're going to wrap it up. Brent, we cannot thank you enough for being on the episode today on the show. This was amazing, and we really hope to have you back on again, because this is good.
Thank you so much.
Anytime, and thanks for adapting the time just for my schedule. So I really appreciate that. But that was a lot of fun. I was just
no worries. A massive good luck to the U of A Golden Bears tomorrow.
Definitely.
Go destroy Winnipeg and it's Manitoba Bison. Technically, it's the Manitoba Bison. But I hope you guys crush tomorrow. I'll definitely be tuning in somehow, some way. To our viewers, thank you very much, everybody, for listening today, for tuning in, for viewing. John in the chat here has the last chat of the day with Atlantic CFL team. Jerseys are already up on royalretros.com. If you use Stampede, you get 10% off. Guys, thank you so much. This was an amazing episode. My name is Scout, aka the Rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka the Elks.
And that's Brent Korte from the U of A Golden Bears.
AKA Coach Korte. That's my Twitter, at Coach Korte. So give me a follow. Happy to.
A follow, a tweet, a subscribe, whatever you can give Brent Korte here. Coach Korte, at Coach Korte.
Any type of love, that's all good.
All the love, because he's a loving guy. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. We are the Elks Herd. This was the Elks Call. Cheers.
Have a good night.
Cheers. Thank you.